was given the virus and watched go blind, deaf, died. And so there's some of those people are still alive, or their children are still alive who watched them suffer. And so because the American health system failed to fix those relationships within the last 50 to 100 years, we're still going to have people who just don't trust.
That's true. I'll tell you, I was in the Marine Corps in 1995, and I had several shots, and I absolutely didn't know what I got. So when you talk about being a lab rat, yes, that does happen. Then you just have a group of people that, in their religious belief, they just don't believe in going to hospitals or getting treatment, and a lot of them they won't vaccinate their children. So and it's I mean, it's total choice. We live in a society that, or a country that we can make those choices. So yeah, it's going to be a group of people that are going to say, you know what, this stuff has been going on, and now you guys magically have a vaccine for this, whereas we had a hard time with the flu, and now you're telling me that you can hit this one at 95%, but you couldn't hit H1N1 at that rate? I mean, come on. I mean, think about it. And there's going to be those questions. There's going to be those people out there that just don't do it. So you're going to keep spreading it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Cast,
totally
Ted.
agree.
Ah, well, hmm. Dion, what say you?
I question for you guys. What is going on in your neck of the woods? I know I spoke about North Dakota, but I didn't speak about New York. And Dr. Carr spoke about Philadelphia, but what about Pennsylvania?
My first set of numbers were from Pennsylvania itself. The 287,000 total was the entire Pennsylvania, with Philadelphia having 56,371 out of that percentage.
Okay.
Liz made a great point too, but before we finish, or maybe we can do it in our next podcast, where she brought up the mental health. Okay. So right now, all of us, we're focused on this virus and COVID-19, but we know that other areas of health are being neglected. And mental health cases have multiplied. So that is something we definitely have to pay attention to because it's happening.
Well, I'm not even taking that lightly because I've never felt. I usually stay around at work like 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
At 4:05, I'm gone. I'm out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
They're wondering, oh, why are you leaving so fast? Oh, why? I've been wearing a mask all day. You think I want to wear it 5 minutes more? I don't. I don't want to be around anyone that might give it to me. I don't.
Yeah. The other thing, I was thinking the same thing, Dion. It's funny that you mentioned that because yesterday, I just got up and at 4 o'clock I said, I'm leaving because I exposed myself 12, 14, 15 hours a day. And I thought to myself, if this is wave 2, then I need to take care of myself and a couple of days a week, leave a little earlier and reduce my exposure level.
But it's not even earlier. It's not even earlier.
Well, it's not before 8 hours, but it's
on time.
Yeah.
It's on time.
Yeah, think how much time you spend at work anyway. How much time you away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You've entered a contract with that work environment. So it's like, all right, I commit to 40 hours a week. Any more time that you give outside of that, you just put your daggone you're dialing your numbers.
And as Dion, I used to look at people sideways. What's wrong with them leaving at 4 o'clock after 9 hours of work? When really they're looking at me going, look at this idiot staying. Well, the first 8 hours are paid and the rest is volunteer.
Hey, when I was in EVS, I always told my managers, I say, you need to understand work-life balance. If you can get all your work done in 8 hours, there's going to be work the next day. It
Yeah.
will be that work will be there the next
Well, you
day. So
can
you don't
always
have
bet
to,
on that in any job, but especially EVS, right, Ted?
especially EVS.
Especially the world at EVS.
Well, one thing I
So,
realize that there are many shifts. There's a shift that come in after us. We come in after someone is leaving, and there's someone that's coming in after that shift. So everyone needs to do their part. And I'm telling you right now, if I could leave at 4 too, I will. Um, I cannot hang out in a mask,
Mhm.
or I remember we're there at 7 a.m. and the shift starts at 8. So that's 9 hours wearing a mask all day, up on patient floors, walking. I love the bathroom because that's my mask off area, you know? The bathroom, come on. This is a different time. I've never seen anything like this. And I can appreciate Ted's comment. It's not going away. I don't think it's going away right now. Vaccine or no vaccine, you're going to have people who are not going to take this vaccine, and they're going to be spreaders. So um,
I
I
think
hope
we
I hope
should
the vaccine works well.
I think we should have spreaders wear a certain color so we can identify them.
You can't do that. You can't do that. That ain't
Just
right.
kidding. Just kidding, Ted. Just kidding.
I'm fortunate, but unfortunate at the same time working from home. I've never spent this much time answering emails with the same questions from different students. It is mentally exhausting and draining and overwhelming. And it's an expectation that they believe that you're supposed to be available 24/7. And so from working 2 days and a third day for a few hours to, I had to tell myself that you're no longer answering emails on Thursdays. You're no longer answering emails on Saturdays, at least after 12, because now it's taking a mental toll where I feel like I'm constantly on work. One of the things that I shared with a friend of mine was, don't be surprised if we start seeing class action lawsuits later on with people wanting to be compensated for the volume of extra hours that they worked, OT for free.
Oh yeah. It's a strain on college students too. I got my youngest son. He's pre-med, but he's struggling. You know, his roommates are struggling. Just the online learning environment is totally different than that in-person interaction where you can kind of ask questions and get a better understanding.
And
And
that's what I'm teaching. I'm a college professor, and it's a lot. And I feel for my students. I actually said I recommend that K through 12 just keep the kids back, keep them back 1 year. I'm sorry, they're not learning unless they test out to where they prove that they can move forward. But I don't think that we should push them forward because it's overwhelming. I spoke to my nieces who are in college. All of them are like struggling.
yeah, it's a struggle, and it's almost like a waste of their money if you're taking loans out for college, and it's like you're getting the University
Well,
of Phoenix
well,
version
that
of
well,
the.
that explains what I'm going through right now because I'm paying a private university almost $52,000 a year, and I wish I had Dr. Carr for my professor because I've sent an email to my professor 3 weeks ago and still never got a response.
Really? Oh, really?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Well,
So,
hopefully Joe Biden realizes that he needs to erase student loan debt and start from scratch.
yeah, well, I guess the word out there is he's looking to cut $10,000 from select few people. So I'm hoping I'm one of them, but I don't think that I will be. But it's kind of Look, I agree with everyone not having to pay things and benefiting, but I already paid for my undergraduate and I didn't get any help. So where was that? Where was that policy then?
Well, then
Well,
we didn't need it.
Well,
Now,
why don't they let us
pay
backdate
for it
the?
one way or the other. Generation X is going to have to pick up for that loan forgiveness. But that's another podcast.
It really is another podcast. Remember, everyone that is probably in their 70s right now had free education.
exactly. And take it from the billionaires instead of giving them tax cuts. Invested in the citizen.
I'm all for higher education.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but I do wish, now that we're on the subject, I do wish that some of my professors would give a little better direction when they're posting assignments and posting resources and tools. So that could be why so many people are struggling. Also, our attention is so it's just not there because we're thinking of so many other things. So sometimes I realize that I just don't read things well enough and take the time to do that. It's hard. It takes a lot of self-discipline to be an online student.
So, Ted, how is it in your neck of the woods?
What do you mean, cases in North Carolina?
Cases, yes.
Yeah, we got 322,000 cases and roughly 4,926 deaths in North Carolina. As far as I can see, it just kind of baffles me because I don't see a lot of testing sites here in North Carolina in order for them to track that. So I don't know if they're tracking it based on hospitalizations or testing in the facilities. But for as far as I can see, I'm in sort of the Mecklenburg County area, which in Mecklenburg County they had about 40,000 cases and 427 deaths. It's a pretty highly populated area outside of Raleigh-Durham.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a large number for.
But if you look at it, I don't know. I mean, that's to me. I just see that as a rough estimate because sometimes like for example, I've been tested about 9 times this year for COVID. I've had all the nasal swabs. I've had the blood test. Had them all. So, but I didn't have I had maybe 3 of those tests I had in North Carolina and 6 of them I had down in South Carolina. No, I'm sorry, in Florida. So when you look at it, it's like does my numbers count down there? And when I get retested, does that double up the number? So, sometimes I look at numbers in a different way than some people probably would look at it as. They would look at
Well,
the
I think the numbers are from state to state, not it doesn't cross borderline or state line. I have a friend in Florida. He was supposed to join us today, and he sent me some information. He says, what did he send me? So it was on my printer. So the governor of Florida is allowing COVID to be passed on. What is it? What's the term? What's the term? He wants the people to get sick so they can have
Herd
the
immunity?
antibodies. Yes, herd immunity. Yes. I don't know if he's God though. I don't know about that. It's scary.
So we'll see clusters of death, basically. Larger numbers where entire families are wiped out because we don't know how these things are going to affect certain people, especially if the family has pre-existing conditions, as Ted talked about earlier. So in a situation like that, what if some people have side effects? And we know that Florida has a large elderly population. So what does that mean? Are we basically genocide of our elder? Like, what's going on?
But I also heard he's protecting the elderly. So I don't know how he can do that. How do you protect the elderly and letting their